Hello, this is Melo and welcome to our patch 14.16 rundown where, guess what? Syndra got nerfed. We're all happy to hear that. I'm gonna go over Mordog's patch rundown here because I don't have something better at the moment. But we'll see all the changes and all that. In case you don't know me, I'm Melo. I'm a TFT Master Tier player, so I guess what I think matters to someone. I want to believe that. Anyway, the golems were too OP. The golems were just not it, man. They were dealing too much damage early game. If you got an augment that said something golem 1 or something golem 2, sentinel something, they were just too OP. Too much damage early game. Too tanky, especially if they got like 2 support items. Imagine that. Blaster base damage amp from 8, 15, 30 to 12, 25, 45. Blasters finally getting a buff. They are kind of weak at the moment. I don't know what to think about them. Only Varus and Smolder were kind of performing this patch. Maybe Ezreal in some situations, but then again, you don't really want to max out Blaster with Ezreal as a carry. The damage amp postcast also got buffed at the second thingy here, from 45 to 50. Faerie. The Faerie buffs are insane, by the way. I already seen this. I think you can now actually go for vertical Faerie. Vertical Faerie was something that you couldn't really play just because, man, Katarina, and you'd probably have to play Tristana, and just wasn't it, man. Like, until you get to like Kalista and Rakan, which are the actually good fairies, which will hold the crown and the other thing, you're just lost. The armor and healing and shielding went from 30 to 35%, which is good. The armor HP went from 100 to 150, so Rakan is gonna love this. The armor healing from Queen's damage went from 12 to 15%. Those are all huge buffs. 6 Faerie should be good now. Frost, AD and AP, they buffed it all across the board just because they want Frost Vertical to be viable and good. I still think some buffs are needed, but I'm not sure where. Maybe probably the Soldier's HP. But I'm not sure. I haven't played that much Frost. I think it's bad. We'll see after the patch goes on live. Preserver, overtuned, by far one of the most overtuned trades of this first patch. The healing was a lot. They gutted that. The mana gain was also a lot. They gutted that at later stages, which is understandable. Early game, you don't really care about 3% mana. 3% is just what out of 100. Let's say if you want to gain a lot of mana, or like what's 3% of 30? Like, no. But later on, when you had like 12% mana every tick, and you had like a Zerat, let's say, you were just casting 2 or 3 times every fight. It was wild. The Preserver ticks, while a unit was mana locked, were bugged, and will now grant the mana after the mana lock ends, which is nice. This is a buff mostly. It's a quality of life change. Let's say what it is actually. Scholar. I don't know if this is good. I don't know if this trait needs a 6-piece, to be honest. Like, at what point do you play 6 Scholar? I'm wondering. How much mana generation and what unit needs this? Like, okay, it's good, it's really good, but you're just sacrificing too much frontline. You're gonna cast, but you're gonna cast with 3 units on you. It's gonna be interesting to see if this actually works. The buff at 4 is okay. This might be a direct buff at the Zoe comp. Warrior, damage jump went from 10, 18, 25 to 10, 20, 30%, which is good. 5% damage at 6. Warrior is good. Omnivamp went from 10, 18, 25 to 10, 20, 30. Which, then again, 5% Omnivamp at 6, I don't see why. I don't see why not. It actually looks good. I like Warrior, I like Fiora, I like Gwen. Solid carries, but yeah, now should be more playable. Bastion, Armor and MR went up at the later stages. They are now 70 instead of 65 and 120 instead of 110. The Chrono was kind of bugged. You probably got beaten up by Chrono as well this first patch, just because the Chrono time stop wasn't influenced by CC immunity. If you had like a QSS, you know, you are still getting stunned during the Chrono stun. Now it actually works as you would know it would. You're just immune to see that CC. Champs, 1 cost. Jace, pretty bad unit. I usually only use him for frontline because he's a shapeshifter. He probably needs some more buffs, but I'm curious about this solely 25% AD buff at level 1. I don't think he's supposed to be a carry. Like, even if he's supposed to be a carry, why is he a shapeshifter portal? He is just a trade bot. We should just look at what it is. Lilia. They actually buffed Lilia, which I'm happy because Lilia was in a really bad spot early game. You weren't really looking for her as a frontline. 50 to 100 to 40 to 100 mana. I mean, 50 out of 110. Minor buff, but with the hero augments buff that you'll see later, this might actually make Lilia good. Seraphine went from 1070 mana to 1060. Good buff on Seraphine. Now you can make her hold some items. Soraka, very useless unit. The spell damage buffs are just like, why would I ever put a Shojin on her? She's only there as a trade bot in Sugercraft. In my opinion, I might be wrong. She might carry some games, but no. Warwick, I want to make him work so bad, but it always gets me like a 4th place, and that's it. I can never get it to fully work, to fully dominate the lobby. It's kind of sad because I wanna make it work. It's a really fun reroll comp, and now they actually buffed it. They wanna maintain this fantasy of Warwick carry, which is good. I wanna try it. 2 cost champions. Ari getting a buff. You probably know me because you saw one of my Zoe reroll VODs, and you just thought, oh man, this is broken. And yes man, this is broken. The Zoe reroll has farmed me so much LP, and now with Ari being the secondary carry of that comp, will probably just become the main carry, to be honest, or we'll have comp built around her. So yeah, sure. I love these buffs. Spell damage got buffed by a bit, but it's still a buff, and the spell through damage also got buffed by a bit. Galio ability damage reduction went from 15, 20, 25 to 20, 25, 30%, which means that the Galio carry augment is now even better, and that he's better at frontlining, I guess. Sure. We'll have to see. Kassadin, deserved nerf. By the way, Kassadin has been an A to S tier pick for rerolls this patch. He's been quite broken. The spell stacking damage has been reduced, and the spell shield has been also reduced. I don't think this is enough to just put Kassadin in the ground, but you'll probably wanna still put items on him, like make him carry items throughout the mid stages of the game, early and mid stages of the game to the late stages. Kog'Maw, one of my favorite rerolls, reroll comps, alongside Tristana. If you 3-star both of them, they're a really good duo carry setup. I'm sad it gets nerfed, but it's a small nerf. It's mostly targeted at 3-star Kog'Maw. Shyvana is actually getting some sort of a buff. It's more of a change. Now she scales more with AP and less with HP, which makes her less of a frontline. And finally, the thing we have all been waiting for this whole patch, the Syndra nerfs. spell damage got gutted 20. She lost 20, then 30, then 40% of her spell damage. So the spell, only the spell damage got nerfed. Then the spell splash damage, which I believe is the damage part that comes after the first cast, the additional rifts that she was spawning were also dealing damage. These were a bit bugged. Well, what do I mean by that? The spell cast time, the spell splash damage was just 0.3 seconds instead of 1, which means she was casting basically too fast, and then she was going into the auto-attacking animation too fast, and this is why she was generating so much mana, and this is why she was better with attack speed items than, I don't know, AP items. This is why she was broken. Now it's 1 second cast time as for every other champion, and this should be good. And the rift damage also went from 35 to 30%, which amazing. Champs, 3 cost. Katarina, well-deserved buff. If you ever played Katarina reroll this first patch, you kind of got to see how it's underwhelming a bit, considering the fact that she has Faerie and Warrior, 2 traits that give you damage amp. We'll see how she does with these buffs. I think they were kind of light on the touches. I think she might still need some buffs, but then again, it's a very volatile type of a champion, so yeah, this might be good eventually. Wukong. I'm surprised Wukong got buffed. Usually, if you get a Wukong with like Stone Plate and a Warmogs, you just have your front line for like the whole game, which is bonkers. Like, I don't know. Maybe his carry augment was underperforming, but then again, man, this is a good. You should be happy if you get a Wukong early game, because you can just make him tank your primary tank. 4 costs. Karma. In case you didn't know, Karma's ability healed. It actually healed, and we didn't know about this because it doesn't say in the tooltip, but like was worded weirdly. So yeah, this is why basically Karma doesn't get proper damage nerf, which I don't think the damage was the issue. She was just all around too good. I was expecting some mana nerfs, or like she does this damage over more seconds, or like something like that, but her unchanged. I guess they're happy with it. They were not happy with the fact that she healed. Rise wasn't really in a good spot, but I don't think these changes will make that big of a difference. Only 5% spell damage, and 10% spell damage. I will have to test this. It also depends, because he gets to cast multiple times during a fight. You want to play him with like Kinsus and Archangel and all that jazz. Tahm Kench, an HP buff. I like Tahm Kench. I hope he will be viable in more comps as a tank. If you invest in him as a tank, he was kind of bad. Hope that will make him better. But I don't know if 50 HP is enough. We'll have to see. Varus, huge buff on Varus. The cast time went from 2.5 to 1.5 seconds, which is big. That's cutting 1 full second off of each cast, and he's not casting only once every fight, unless you like give him full AD and attack speed items. If you give him a Shojin, which is probably one of his best items now, he should probably just be doing good. Briar, by far the most underwhelming 5 cost champion. I'm quite sure they are going low on the buffs here, because she's a very volatile champion. If you feed her like 150 HP or like 300 HP during the game, then any armor you just put on her is that much more valuable. I think this is why they didn't really consider buffing her armor and MR. But yeah, she will probably need more buffs, probably towards AD if they want it to be played as an assassin. But yeah, still a bit underwhelming in my opinion. Items. Dragon's Claw healing went from 5% per 2 seconds to 2.5% per 2 seconds. This is an insanely big nerf. I think Dragon Claw was just overperforming because of things like Syndra, Karma, and things that were just slowly damaging your champs over time. And they were just healing, which was good. Then again, over time. But yeah, I think the sweet spot is around 3.5%. I might be wrong, but I'll have to see how the new Dragon Claw performs. Dragon's Will, the Radiant version, max HP went from 18% to 15%. This is fine. This is not the reason you're picking Dragon's Will. You just need a frontline item, and Dragon's Will is just perfect. Blacksmith Glove, base HP went from 300 to 200. This item was kind of good. I still like it, like taking Capricious Forge for it and just putting it on a frontline unit. It should still be good. Mogul's Mail, a bit overtuned, yeah, 50 HP, a good nerf. I am curious if this will get reworked, because it already got reworked, and the current version just gives you too much gold, in my opinion. It's kind of broken. Needlessly Big Gem, by far one of the better support items. The damage jump went from 1025 to 520, which is a 5% all around nerf, which should just bring it down a notch. Augments, 1 of 4, amazing. Beggars can be choosers. Now you get 7 gold, which makes it better. I tried this augment once, is really fun. I highly recommend it after this patch. It will actually be worth just for the gold. The 7 gold as a silver augment is just amazing. Find Your Center. I haven't really played this augment. I don't know how good it is, but I guess you can make it work if you find like a good solitary tank, like probably Wukong carry. I'm not sure. Item Collector 1, HP per item went from 10 to 5. Deserved nerf. This was a bit overtuned for a silver augment. Keepers 1. The shield went from 175 to 160. This probably amounts to under 150 HP every fight. This shouldn't be that big of a nerf. You weren't taking this for... I mean, you're taking this for the shield, for the front line, but it will still be strong, I believe. 1, 2, 3s now gives you 2 1-cost champions instead of 3, so it gives you less gold. It's no longer a good I need gold alternative as a silver augment. On the House has been removed. I played it a few times. It was weird. Restart Mission is now even better. What Restart Mission does is it sells all your board. It gives you the gold for that, and then it gives you some 2 stars. 2 1-costs, I believe. Now it's 3 2-costs and a 3-cost, and they're all 2 stars, which is a decent team. You can work with that at like stage 2. I mean stage 3, because this can only appear at like stage 3, I believe. Raw Rejuvenation. Base Omnivamp went from 7% to 8%. This is bad. I hope they just realize that this augment is bad and they will need to buff it again, but for now this is what we have. Arcana Conduit has been removed. Avenge the Fallen. I like Avenge the Fallen. It got buffed, went from 15 to 18 stats. AD, AP, Armor, and MR. I think these are the stats. Build Different 2 is now exclusive with 2 tanky. These were 2 broken together. Caramelized Comforts. HP per item went from 50 to 60. Gold chance per item went from 8% to 10%. This will be interesting to be seen at later stages in the game, where this will get to 50% chance to drop gold on item, or something like that. Clockwork Accelerator, the one that gives you attack speed every few seconds, is now giving you that attack speed over 3 seconds, which I believe was 6%. Draconic Mastery got removed, was too weird to play. The Endless Hunt got renamed to Hunting Frenzy, which now executes enemies below 12%, and they also gain 10% attack speed. which should be decent, probably for Olaf, I guess. Eternal Growth, the initial HP went from 100 to 60. Explosive Growth Plus. I like taking this augment, Explosive Growth. It gives you a lot of XP. Now it gives 5 more, 4 more, 6 more. I don't know. It gives you that amount of XP for N rounds. I forgot if it's 4 or 5, but it's still good. It gives you a lot of XP. I truly enjoy it. Fast forward. This is the Chrono augment. Attack speed gain went from 25 to 40%, which is a buff for Chronos, which is interesting because I thought Chronos were broken. So yeah. Anyway, Camille is by far one of my most favorite 5 cost. Fortune favors the bold. They probably just saw my videos where I played Fortune favors the bold and I got a free first. They nerfed the 8 to 10 loss cash outs by around 10%, and some 13 and 14 loss cash outs got improved, which means you're probably still aiming for like 11 or 12 11 or 12 lose streak with this augment. But yeah, it will be interesting to see, to play it again. Flexible bonus emblems. You now get the bonus emblems only the first 3 stages. This augment flexible was a bit too broken. You were just getting a lot of emblems, a lot of HP for wearing these emblems, and now it should be better. High horsepower. The Lilia hero augment got buffed. The bonus attack speed went from 100% to 150%, and the damage jump got increased, but we cannot see because here on the screen is Mordok's fat head and the camera. Yeah. Higher education. Mana spend went from 100 to 80. Attack speed granted from 10% to 12. This is okay. A good change, a good buff. Item collector 2 also got nerfed. Too much HP to basically your whole team, and AD and AP, by the way. Keepers 2, the shield got reduced. This should be red, by the way. This should be marked as a nerf. It's a nerf. You just get much less HP from Keepers 2. Then again, this is not the reason you play. I mean, this is not the reason you take Keepers. It's just because you need frontline. Molten Caramel. Ability damage jump went from 190% to 200%, and the Omnivamp went from 15% to 20%. Okay, so now there might be some wiggle room to be playing a Rumble without a Bloodthirster or like a Hodge or like a healing item. But we'll have to look into that. I'll test Molten Caramel with the first time I see it. Pilfer, a really good augment. I'm glad it got nerfed. Practice partners. This is the Mage augment. Mana granted went from 4 to 5. Praise the attack. This is the multi-striker augment. Damage went from 5.5% to 5%. Raw rejuvenation 2. I think it will still be trash even at 10%. This is not the issue with the... I mean, this is the primary issue with the this augment, but you cannot really change anything about it. Like, you can only give it more percentage base Omnivamp, and that's the only way to buff it, which is... they're just gonna move 1% and then 1% again and then 1% again, and then it's gonna be overpowered probably at like 15%. But yeah. School mascot no longer has a death cap at 5 and 7. Okay, so they just removed one of the items. As you probably know, you're getting on your school mascot 2 items, and now it only gets 1 item. They got rid of the death cap, and because that would have been too big of a nerf, they also gave it back. I mean, not back. They increased the bonus HP. Now it scales with 10% instead of 5, and the bonus AP 30% instead of 10. Spellblades, very broken, got nerfed. Well deserved, will probably be nerfed again, hopefully. Sport Golem, just because the golems were strong, is no longer offered on 2-1. Sweet Tooth, the Nunu carry augment, now only gives 100 bonus HP. This is not why the augment is broken. You will still be picking this in all the spots you were picking it previously. There is a crowd, got buffed. HP per 3 cost went from 66 to, I believe, 70 or 75. I'm not sure. Then again, Mordok's camera is in the way, and ours as well. Trade Tracker, by far my most favorite gold augment, probably of all time, is now exclusive with Flexible. The combo was just too broken. You're just getting emblems for free, a lot of them. Too healthy, bonus HP per 2 cost went from 90 to 80, which is good. Vertically inclined damage amp went from 816 to 918%. Decent buff. I like this, and it's no longer offered on 2-1. This is good when you want to play a vertical comp. Which you all up, the Poppy carry augment now has more damage, and the time between wall ups has been reduced. This is a good buff. I want to try the Poppy hero augment now. Worth the wait. The round delay went from 4 to 2 rounds. And for Prismatics, we have as follows. Anger Issues now gives you 30 armor and MR per Insus, which means that you might actually have a front right now while playing this augment. Assassin Toolbox has been reworked and now gives you a Prowler's Claw and an Infinity Edge right away. So it gives you a normal item and an artifact. At what cost? Bonus XP went from 16 to 8. I think at what cost is really good, but not when you're on Prismatic Party. Yeah, not on Prismatic Party. Just when you know you're gonna get all the Prismatic augments, you just don't want to pick this, because then you cannot choose your Prismatic augments and you might get a bad one and then you just lose the game. Dark Alley Dealings. Turn delay went from 5 to 3. Now you get the mirror faster. Giant and Mighty went from 325 to 300 HP. This should still be good. This is a minor nerf. You're just taking this because it makes your whole team tankier, and that's insane. Immovable Object, another augment I love. The bonus effect got nerfed a bit. It should still be good, but we'll see. Prismatic Ticket, you were probably never going to take this on 4-2. It can now no longer be offered on 4-2, thank God. Chance to proc went from 50% to 45%. It was 45% a few, like, I don't know if it was last set or like 2 sets ago, but it was 45% somewhere along the line. Support Golem 2 is no longer offered on 4-2. I don't know why. You would probably still want to pick it. It's two support items on a Golem. Like, that's still good, I suppose. What a Forge. HP per artifact went from 110 to 230, I believe. Then again, we cannot see because of the webcam. If this is not good in this state, I think it can just be gutted, basically. Some small augment changes. Bastion Crown, you now get a Shen. Blaster Crown, you now get an Ezreal. Scholar Crown, you now get a Bard instead of an Ahri, and a Shojin instead of a Guardbreaker. And Blossoming Lotus can no longer be offered on 2-1, which is good because they were really weak at that point. Charms. I'm not gonna read the new charms. You can pause the video and read them if you want. Back Row Star went from 5 gold to 2 gold. Desperate Player. The one that made you invincible for 1 round has been removed. Sad to see that. It was an interesting charm. Enhance went from 2 gold to 1. Gear swap has been removed because this thing, Trinker, will now just give you the Reforger and the Remover for free. And now it can appear all game. So it was no need for gear swap where it was just giving you these two, the Reforger and the Remover for 1 round. Good quality of life change. Minor Gambit went from 2 gold to 3. Phantom Emblem went from 8 gold to 6. I'm never picking this. Shivinate now appears also on stage 2 and 3. No longer appears on stage 4. It's an early game combat type of an augment. I'm not a type of a charm. I'm not picking it anyway, so 1 gold is 1 gold. I'm not wasting 1 gold in the early game. Summon Dragon. I don't think they realize the fact that the dragon is broken not because of the damage it deals, but because of the fact that he has 4000 HP and also deals damage. It's not only a brick, it's not only a dummy, it's a dragon. It does damage. It will probably get nerfed again. The star went from 5 gold to 7. Okay, the trinker, as I said, treasure party went from 8 gold to 6. Okay. In hyper roll, nobody cares. And there is a bug fix I wanted to tell you about. Fixed cases where Gwen could fail to cast and then be stuck for several seconds. So now Gwen should be actually better. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot for everyone supporting the channel. This channel, I feel amazing. And I'll see you in the next one or soon. Goodbye.